2, 1.
The Angelica Touch by Lindsay Sedgwick, Chapter 4. We race outside, and there, framed against the moonlight, is an immense and majestic blue whale lying on its side. For a moment I think it's the one I saw when I was 7, but that's a bit scary, especially if the whale I saw had actually been the whale that ate my dad, and his bones were maybe inside still. But I'm 14 now, not 7. Whales do not leap over cliffs onto peninsulas, even in tropical storms. Besides, a real whale wouldn't have a logo printed on its underbelly that says Paradoxical Films, and neither would a helicopter be landing nearby. Still, a whale has landed out of the sky onto our lawn. It's the best New Year's Eve surprise ever. The whole town is spilling up the hill to view the wonder. The only person untouched by this odd sort of miracle is Guppy. Arms folded, she faces off the man in charge from Paradoxical Films like a prize boxer. A man with the worst hairdo imaginable. It keeps fetching across his face and he has to flick it aside. One night, he says 2 at the most, he wants to stow the whale. It's built to go in the water for days on end, but now needs to go undercover because it's cracked and could get water damaged. Ironic. Tell you what, he says, we'll put you down for a credit on the film. How about that? We'll take pictures you can use for publicity. Hotel shelters fallen whale. It's not a real whale, she says, and a credit doesn't pay bills. If it were a real whale, of course I wouldn't charge you a penny, but fake whales cost $5,000 a night, bed and breakfast. You have got to be kidding, he says. That's the cost of renting the ballroom, says Guppy. I don't think it has ever been rented. Unless you kept the lights really dim, you'd see the plaster peeling from the damp underneath. Oh, right, he says. So how many fake whales have you had staying over lately? Or how many balls? Guppy doesn't bother answering, so they stand there in silence. Only the storm is really whipping up now and the whale needs to go undercover. Okay, Grandma, he says. Oh my, Guppy winks at me. I think they just went up to 10,000. You win, we'll sort it out tomorrow, he says. For now, can we just get her inside? If you think I was born yesterday, says Guppy, then you haven't looked at my wrinkles. Molly. Mum's with Kitty, whose daughter Grace is my best friend. Kitty runs the Pirate Queen pub in Drishog. She's a single mum too, but not so you'd know it. And she never misses out on an opportunity to talk to strangers. I can't see Grace anywhere. Molly, says Guppy, is it 10 grand for the whole ballroom or 12? Oh, we'll settle for 2, says Mum, since it is our first whale this year. On condition that you paint the ballroom afterwards. The man, Marcus, agrees, and hands are shaken all round. His hair is all puffy and long, but whatever the cut is, it should be placed on a register of banned hairstyles. He doesn't let Kitty's fingers go for ages, even though she has nothing to do with this deal. She has power over men, and it's not only that she's blonde. Grace says it's a genetic thing. It just hasn't exactly revealed itself in her yet. Guppy coughs loudly. Marcus lets go and runs his fingers through his hair. There's a lot of it. The fingers get stuck halfway down the back, and it's not quite the suave gesture he meant it to be. Then he slopes off, hair swinging in the wind, to supervise the removal of the ballroom doors so the whale can fit through. I stay with the whale. See, while I should hate whales because of Dad, I've always been drawn to them. Some dweebs from first year are stuffing grass into the crack on the whale's stomach. Look, pubic hair! I'm about to say something like, grow up, which would not be worth the slagging that would follow, or leave him alone, when a voice echoes from the whale, don't do that, and freaks the boys out. I have a peep round the back. It's Dylan, one of the new vicar's sons, speaking into the blowhole. Or I will eat you. He grins at me. It's a nice grin. Sort of the nicest grin I've seen on a boy in Drishog. His dad only came here about 6 months ago, but we don't go to any church of any sort, so I've only seen him in school and not up close. His jacket has a whale wrapped around the shoulders. Pretty cool for a boy. Angelica! Mum. She's looking around for me, but I'm with Dylan behind the whale and I don't want to leave. Of course I blush. Not because of Dylan, because of Mum. That's when the whale starts talking to me. This is something that happens when I'm uncomfortable or things aren't turning out the way they should. I don't know why. Sometimes I have entire conversations with inanimate objects and animals who shouldn't be able to talk. Mostly there's a really good reason they shouldn't talk. Pigeons, for example, they use really foul language. She's lonely, your mum. Look at how her shoulders droop, surrounded by couples holding hands, says the whale, arms around waist, kisses on lips. A whale made from polystyrene and plywood. Lonely and alone. I answer, no, she's not. She's perfectly happy. Sorry, says Dylan. I forgot he was there. Were you talking to me? No, sorry. It's okay, he says. In case I missed his meaning, the whale tosses in a dose of sarcasm. Yeah, she's brimming with happiness. I stay mute. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to do was get roped into helping out in the bar or making beds when there's bound to be some of the film crew staying. Right now, it doesn't feel like the worst option, but the whale is on a roll. Not literally. Literally, he is lying on a broken fin and has a belly full of grass. This is your 7th New Year's Eve, Intrashog, it says. How often has your mum had company in all that time other than you? Once, and he made her feel like shit. Or was that you? He was a sleazebag. Who was? It's Dylan, not the whale. The voices are entirely different. Dylan's is smooth like butter and the whale sounds like an old man, a grumpy old man. Sorry, I say, I was thinking aloud. Besides, the whale has it wrong. Mum's gorgeous and funny, and see, she's chatting away now to Marcus. This proves that if she really was lonely, she'd find someone. Easy. Hey, Mouse, says Chris. How about a picture of you with the whale? He's appeared out of nowhere, reading 10 and 20 into the 2 and 2 that is me, standing behind a whale with a boy. In the background, Mum points Kitty out to Marcus, and Marcus shifts like a rabbit in a landslide, leaving her totally alone on the crowded lawn. It's as if you dressed for the part, says Chris. Damn, I forgot about the dress. I must look like a complete sado, the sort of lonely teenager who still dresses up at Halloween even though she hasn't been invited to a party. Chris, I can't, I say. Mum's looking for me. One photo, please. I have to go, says Dylan, disappearing into the crowd. Nice whale talking with you. Okay, I say, one pic. Because it's not Chris's fault tonight's going belly up. Then I fetch Guppy to pose for him and Mum before the sky starts cackling. As the storm rolls in, everyone hares into the hotel laughing. The whale, I've named him Albert on account of his deep and grumpy voice, is carried indoors. A shaft of lightning hits the oak tree and splits the love seat in half as we watch from the hotel lobby. Can't be a good omen. Oh, says Guppy, fireworks, how lovely. I'm glad they got Albert inside. Kitty emerges from the bar with her phone stuck to her ear and mouths something to me about Mum looking for help before moving out of earshot. I can still hear, well, hello, big bad boy, what naughty things have you been doing? Before Grace thumps my upper arm by way of saying hello. Grace is my best friend, but she thumps like a pro and has a way of appearing without making a sound that's borderline creepy. After I've showered, I rope her into helping me make up some beds. It's the price of being my friend. I lifted one of Mum's work phones, she says. Thought we could phone her clients back, like tomorrow. Grace's mum, Kitty, does sex lines to make ends meet. These are immoral, says Mum, but I've heard them giggling about it when they think I'm asleep. I'm a single child and a daughter at that. It's my duty to pick up knowledge from whatever source I can. Come on, Licky, says Grace. It'll be fun. Licky is her current nickname for me. Angelica. Get it? I can't say it's my most impressive nickname, but it beats Ange and Jelly, which were last year's efforts. It doesn't take long to decide. Not as if I've a whole lot else planned for New Year's Day. Okay. Insert on freckles. I have many freckles. If all my freckles held hands, I would look like a brown walrus without the tusks. If I had tusks, maybe I wouldn't have freckles. In summer, my freckles explode and multiply. For winter, they stuff themselves back into their little skin suitcases and hide. Except they always leave a few behind, and so every year I have more, even if I avoid the sun. The purpose of freckles? None. They may be cute if you are 4 or 5, but not when it becomes difficult to see a space on your face without a freckle. Grace says there may be Morse code for an alien life form or the marks of a defunct and leftover plague. Nice. There is absolutely nothing but tat on TV. First choice, famous collectors. The man has 30,000 banana-themed hats. Second, plankton and their purpose. Third, the history of the New Testament. Fourth, 12 singing, dancing wonder kids in curls trying to win parts in a musical that only this insane with no taste whatsoever would actually want to go and see. Then rom-coms. Lots of rom-coms. Pretty Woman, When Harry Met Sally, The Perfect Man. Grace refuses to watch anything that isn't borderline horror. The reception is abysmal anyway, because of the weather and us being perched on the edge of the wild Atlantic Ocean. We finally stumble upon a whale documentary. The presenter has a voice that could put ogres to sleep to make them dream, and make them dream they were slugs. Whales are entirely sociable animals, he drones. It is rare to see a whale alone, as if there is shame attached to it. We turn the sound off and take turns to provide our own voiceover while binging on snacks. What is it with you and whales, says Grace when she's had enough and stomps off to bed down in our spare room. She says I talk in my sleep and that she's afraid if she shares a room with me I'll start singing whale songs at her or leap straight into a whole whale mating ritual, whatever that is, with her as the victim. My hair is still wet and I'm not tired, so I make hot chocolate and watch the whales. Unfortunately, as soon as I have convinced myself that I am in the water with the whales, voices filter through from the corridor. Of course I peek out. The hotel is full of film people tonight and a few locals who can't drive home because of Chris's cocktails. Who knows what I might hear? At the end of the corridor, a door opens from our private quarters onto the first floor proper. Marcus props it open, while Kitty tries to persuade Mum to join them. Have a few drinks, Molly. Let your hair down. Have some fun. You had to have had some once. It's been a long day, says Mum, and I'm tired. Besides, I don't want Angelica finding a stranger in my bed. She's weary of the joke that I am the only proof that she was once fun-loving. Marcus winds his arms around Kitty's waist and tries to pull her away. He's made of patience. So use another room, says Kitty. It's your hotel. I'll do you a deal. If you don't like his friend, you can have Marcus. Marcus groans, which doesn't exactly bode well for the exchange. Can't do fairer than that, Molly. You do what you like. Great. Kitty, I've given you keys and Grace is staying with us. Mum walks away from them towards our apartment. I close the door sharpish as Kitty calls after her. Angelica's 14, Molly. One day she's going to leave home, and what'll you have then? To be continued.